Okay, your life.
ओके, तो अपने पीछे आपके वो है, काफी शोर है. Shall we wish?
Yes, boss, we're live.
Oh, okay. I thought we need to one. Okay, guys, welcome to our third lesson. Third lesson is all about ownership. So I'm just doing a quick recap. In our first session, we talked about that there is an uncertainty in the market, but at the same time, we have an exciting opportunity to go and work into it. But to go into this thing, we need to think from a strategic mindset, that what is important for us, what is our winning value, and then we need to use design thinking to either launch new product or service, or to build some customer experience. Yesterday we talked about the concept of transformation, that how we can transform. So when I say we need to transform, I talk about the concept of competing strategy versus the growth strategy. And if we want to grow, we need to work on product and services which will help my company, our company, to focus on growth. And to do this thing, we need to use program management and implement the change management concepts. And more importantly, when we are doing program management of our based on growth strategy and utilizing change management, at the same time, we need to have our metrics and KPIs which should focus on experimentation, not based on revenue. And we don't need to use the metrics and KPIs which are going to measure the performance in an operational environment, because we are not going to run operations. We are not talking about effective management or efficient or cost reduction, these kind of things. Today, I'm going to talk about that. You understand the opportunity, you understand the process of or steps of transformation. Now it's your time to take the ownership, to convert, or I would say transform your mind from a manager perspective to leader perspective. And when somebody tells me, asks me, I said, how do you define leadership? So what is the definition of leadership in my terms? If I look at the leadership perspective, I would say that there are hundreds of definitions, thousands of books and articles on leadership, and everybody is saying something in his own perspective. More or less they are same. But if you look at the leadership, what I define leadership is that it's a process of inspiration. So if I see leadership from the perspective of organization, I would say it's a process to inspire others to achieve shared goal. So for me, that is leadership. And you can disagree with me if you want, but this is how I define. Number one. Number two, when I see the process of leadership, I would say the first step or the first stage of leadership is to inspire yourself, that how you are going to lead yourself. It's not like that. To lead, you need to have some people under you. You start yourself, you start leading from yourself. So first of all, you need to lead yourself, then you are going to lead the team. And when you say you are leading the team, it means you are leading team who are under you, you are leading team who are junior than you, and then you are leading team those who are under you but they are senior than you in terms of age, in terms of experience. Then the third, I would say stage in leadership is where you are leading the department. The fourth is how you are leading the organization, and fifth one is you are leading globally. So everybody is talking about leadership in a general perspective. Everybody is saying that leadership means you are born with that. Then leadership means you have some specific characteristics and traits. Leadership means situational leadership. Leadership means emotional intelligent leadership. So these all exist into it. Now we are talking about adoptive leadership, servant leadership. So there are variety of concepts of leadership. But if I sum up the whole thing, I would say that how I'm going to inspire myself. But when I'm going to inspire myself, when I'm going to lead my life, when I want to lead my career, when want to lead my growth, the first thing that I need to understand is that I own my problem. I own my opportunity. So I need to. So what I do is, for me, the way I do things, the way I work on things is I choose my own battles. I never go into other battles. I try to find out how to operate, what to operate, and what not to do, because that is also strategic. When you say strategic, it means what we are doing and what we are not doing. So I get almost, I must say, 10 to 15 different opportunities in a year, but I don't go to them if it is not aligned with my alignment. If it is not aligned with my, not my, if let's suppose if something is coming in and I'm not doing it right now, but it is going to help me in future, then I will look into it. Otherwise, I choose my own battles. Number one. Number two, when I think that what is the biggest problem or biggest challenge when you are trying to lead yourself, what I find out is the biggest challenge in terms of leading yourself is the focus. Although when I ask people, say procrastination is a challenge, goal setting is a challenge, focus is a challenge, coming out of fear is a challenge, self belief is a challenge. So what I say that if I sum up all and say, okay, so if you can focus on one thing or two things, then you will be able to overcome this challenge. So when I say focus, so what are the key skills that we need to adopt, that we need to build to overcome it? So when I see these skills, there are dozen of skills that people talk about it. But what I have done is, what I am good into it is, what is my specialty is to reduce the complexity, to make things simple. So what I find out is, if you want to focus, you need to work on three key skills. Number one is goal setting. You need to define what are your goals, how you are going to define and achieve your goals. And when somebody says goals, some says big audacious hairy goals, some says achievable goals, some say smart goals. But when I talk about goals, I say that I need to define goals in two terms. One is my regular goals, which I need to achieve in terms of running my business, about my health, about my family. But then I decide my stretch goals. So generally, whenever I go about the goal setting, first of all, I set the theme that this year or next 3 years, these three or maximum four are my areas where I need to work. And then under each theme, I define my regular goal that I want to achieve within a year or within half year or quarter, and stretch goal, right? And my stretch goal actually keeps haunting me, that I said, this is your stretch goal, you need to work on it, you need to take out your time. So what I find out is that you never are short of time. It's not about that you have less time. It's that you have too much on your plate and you are unable to prioritize it. So when you set your goals, I believe that it helps you to set your priority. It's not that you are going a full list of goals, identify 3 or 5 goals, and then try to achieve it. And if you can divide those, or segregate those goals into, you can say, stretch goal versus regular goals, it will help you to grow yourself, achieve the target, and move on. Number one. Number two, when you are leading yourself, when you need to inspire yourself, the number two important criteria here is that basically how you are approaching the, how you are following the, or how you are building the disciplined approach. There's a famous quote of Jim Rohn who said that discipline is the bridge between goal and accomplishment. So if you want to grow in your life, if you are not disciplined, if you are not completing the things, if you are not focusing on your work, then it means you are not achieving the overall result. So in my opinion, if you have time management issues, if you have procrastination issues, if you are not able to complete things, so I would say just at least read the book by David Allen, Getting Things Done. When I was facing the same issues, I read this book. In fact, I go through with Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. Then I talked about David Allen, and I liked the concept of getting things done by David Allen. It helped me to improve my productivity. It helps me to see that how I finish things. And I never keep a big list. Number one. Number two. Initially, when I started to to become more productive in my day, I talk about daily goals, and then I realized that daily goals are not going to help me. I need to define the overall yearly agenda, quarterly agenda, and then what I do is I create a goal of week. So right now, week is like my iteration. Week is like my agile sprint that I need to achieve 2, 3, 4, whatever item based on my commitment of these weeks, what I can deliver, what I can move on. So that helped me to achieve things in a specific way, and it actually helped me also to reduce my stress. Because if I'm going to write lot of things or multiple things to complete in one day, and if I got stuck, if I have some commitment, if I have some errands, I will not be able to achieve it. So the best way to manage your productivity, best way to manage your time is to work on week at least. So that these are my key tasks, these are my key things that I need to finish within a week. And week actually gives you the scalability and flexibility both in terms of achieving things and doing more things, or are engaging things. So discipline approach is very important, finishing thing is very important. And traditionally people say that go and use your daily journal or talk about the daily task. I would say go about the weekly task. Then the third thing is, and which I learned in a very hard way, and after doing lots of mistakes, or I can say lots of lessons, it's basically emotional intelligence. So when I want to lead myself, when I want to work on myself, I need to focus on my emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, as I understand, is that I need to identify what are the key events and key actions that triggers me, and how I can actually respond myself, how I can build my response in it. There's a famous quote by Stephen Covey, which he said that whenever something happens to us and whenever I'm going to respond to that event, there is a space. So there is a space between an event, a trigger, and my response. And it's up to me what I'm going to respond at that time, and how I'm going to use this space. So you need to understand what you are going to perform in that space. If you are working in a reactive way, if you are responding like this, it means you are not using your space. So if you want to be proactive, if you want to see things in a good way, if you want to lead a balanced life, you need to understand that space. And emotional intelligence help you to build that space. Emotional intelligence help you to understand what you are, and what are your trigger points, and what you will respond to them. Number one. Number two, within emotional intelligence, what, in which environment, in which circle, in which people, and the company you are, and then what are the relationship norms, what are the cultural norms that you need to adhere to, and then move on. So if you want to address this thing, and if you can work on these three things, then I believe that your ownership of yourself, your ownership of your work has higher chance to go and grow. You can be strategic, you can be design thinking expert, you know how to do a growth strategic product, you understand the metrics and KPIs. But if you are not leading yourself, and if you're not owning your own behaviors and motivations, then you will not be able to achieve what you are targeting to achieve. Number one. Number two, when I see the second stage of leadership, the second stage of leadership is all about how you are leading the team, and leading the team is very important. And when I ask people what are the key challenges when you are leading the team, so what I find out is the key challenge of leading the team is engagement, that how you engage your team. And when it comes to engaging the team, I find out that one of the key skill that you need to build as a team leader is mentoring and coaching, that how you are mentoring your team, how you are coaching your team. And there's a sharp difference between mentoring and coaching. When you say mentor, it means you are providing them guidance, you are providing them helping them in general way, in general sense, in general topic, in general areas of life. But when you say coaching means you are helping them to achieve a specific goal, you are helping them to achieve a specific strategy. And but they have to come up with their own strategy, they have to come define their goal. It's not you who's defining their goal, it's them, they are defining their goal. And then you are helping them, guiding them that how to achieve their goal in an effective way. So that is the job of a coach, to help, to motivate, to become an accountability partner of a of a team, to help them to achieve things. So this is the first thing that you need to build when you're talking about how you are leading the team. Second thing which I find out is that you need to be very good in conflict management, because you cannot avoid conflicts in projects and program in typical environment. So if you are hiding and you are running away from the conflict, then it means you are not leading the team. You need to own the result of the team, you need to own the behavior of the team. You are not going to own the integrity of the team. Integrity is their own personality, but how they are behaving, what are their emotions, and how you are engaging them, how you are molding them, how you are providing them the values. That is what you can do in terms of achieving the overall result and as a building the team. So mentoring and coaching is one of the key things. The second thing is conflict management, which is, as I said, will help you to address their concerns, will help you how they work together, will help you to solve issues, solve their problem, because sometimes people become too personal. And whenever any opinion, which is a difference of opinion, if they are going to take this difference of opinion on their own self-worth, then it is no more a difference of opinion, it will convert into conflict. So you need to see and you need to counsel that, okay, having difference of opinion is good, but making stereotypes and taking things on your personality is not good. Number one. Number two, whenever you have a problem, you need to understand the problem from both ends and try to collaborate things, try to confront things, so that they both feel that it's a win-win for them rather than win-lose or lose-lose option. So this is very important as a leader to see, to go through and work on. And sometime, what you can do is, rather than becoming a party, what you can do is you need to listen both. You need to give them a space, or maybe what I do is sometimes, although this is not, I would say some will say that it's a good practice, but what I do is sometimes I say that shift your role. So let's suppose if Oves is saying something in my team and Fahim is saying something and they have some issues. So what I say that, okay, just consider that this is not an issue of Oves, this is an issue of Fahim, and just consider that this is not an issue of Oves. So I just shift the role and ask them, now discuss and see. And when they, then when they start discussing from the other perspective, their views about the problem has changed. They see things in a different way. So I'm not saying that you do it in every situation, but if you can try it, if you see things, and if you build, this empathy-based conflict management, which is not written everywhere in any book. So I call it empathy-based, or I call it, it's a sixth, technique of conflict management. When you talk about conflict management, you have collaboration, you have withdrawal, you have forcing, you have compromising, you have smoothing. But I think that sixth is empathy based, where you actually shift the role and try to understand the conflict from different perspective and try to do this thing. So that is the important point when you look at engaging the team. And third skill that you need to build when you are engaging your team, when you are talking about and I'm leading the team, is a performance management. You see, you cannot measure anything if you don't have any measurement criteria. So you need to define the performance criteria and you need to give them a space, because generally what I find out is you are victim of micro doing as a leader, or you are victim of micromanagement as a leader. So what I find out is, after a lot of research and doing thing, is I don't need to perform micro doing, I don't need to perform micromanagement, but what I need to do is micro controlling. And I read this concept of micro controlling in Tommy Wire book, Leadership Dubai Style. And it helped me a lot in managing my team. It helped me a lot to identify the team performance, because I'm kind of a person who uses the laissez-faire leadership style, where I want my team to take responsibility and do things. But I find out that it's not the best approach. Sometimes it's not about the trust; it's about the way we deal the stuff in our culture. So micro doing means I am too much perfectionist, and I'm not satisfied with my teamwork, and I'm ending up doing things at my own. So I don't want to do this thing. So what I do is, rather than trying to make things better, what I do is I tell them the criteria, minimum criteria of a performance, that this thing, this work, this result, this image, this course material, this marketing material should have that criteria, should have these specific things. And whenever you are going to post something, whenever you are going to build something, whenever you are going to launch something, you must understand these specific things. And your approach, your launch, your email, your content should not go below that point. So by doing this thing, it helped me to take out from doing micro doing things. Number one. Number two, in terms of performance management, is micromanagement. What I find out is, when you talk about micro doing as a leader, you are a victim of perfectionism. But when you talk about micromanagement, I believe as a leader, you are a victim of trust. You don't trust people. You are basically making every single decision of your team. You should not do that. What you need to do is you need to give them a space. So lots of people used to come to me and said, we need discount and we need to talk to you, or Ovis is asking me too much money and whatnot. And Ovis used to call me and said, Asad bhai, there is a person who's asking me discount. Asad bhai, someone is asking me this thing and that thing. And to solve this thing and reduce the number of calls that I'm getting from individual participants and from Ovis, I gave Ovis a range with some performance criteria, and I make it sure that I should not get a call from some people that this is the discount that I want from you. In fact, now people complaining me that, Asad, the discount that you are giving us is already given by Ovis. So what is the value of calling you? And I said, then you should not call me for discount, because Ovis is taking care of you in a better way. And our pricing model is based on that thing, that lots of, I would say 90% people don't have argument, because we provide success guarantee trainings and our success guarantee, and we charge only the success guarantee amount. So if you are asking me to lower the fees, so we say, okay, if you want us to lower the fees, then you should remove the success guarantee, and this is where we actually able to negotiate in a better way, and that is what we can do. So the key point is, if you want to manage the performance of a team, don't do micro doing, don't do micromanagement. To avoid micro doing, set a minimum performance criteria. To avoid micromanagement, set a decision criteria, that these are the ranges of decisions that your team can take their own. They don't need to ask from you. So that way it will be helpful for you to go and overall see how they are working. And finally, as a leader, as a manager, if you want to lead your team and you want to manage their performance, you need to perform micro monitoring. When you say micro monitoring, it means that you are checking their work, you are physically going and see how things are done. And basically, it's not that you are not trusting them, it's basically building a due diligence, that you will be there, you will be seeing the things, you will be physically available to measure the results, and you are not measuring the result at the end of the project, or at the time when it cannot be rework on it. So you need to see it in a regular interval and see things, so that help you to manage the team and actually give them a sense that you are into the project, you are into the program, you are into the environment, and you understand what is going on and you own it. It's not just that they're providing you 30% is complete, 40% is complete, 50% is complete. It's basically that you own the work, you own the responsibility, and you are with them together. So micro controlling is helping you to see the overall performance of our team. So when you are leading the team, and if you want to overcome the challenge of engagement, what three key skills you need to build is mentoring and coaching, conflict management, and performance management. Now, let's suppose if you are leading a function or a department, then I would say that the biggest challenge that functional managers are facing is, or department heads are facing, are strategic alignment of their work with organization. Lots of time when we sit in board meetings, I have seen in board meetings that everybody's talking about their job, their department role, their management objective, their KPIs, and everybody's seeing things from their technical perspective. What you, if you want to overcome, and then lots of senior managers, lots of functional departments are complaining that we are not promoted as a CEO, we are not getting next level. Why you are not getting next level? Because you are managing the things from operational perspective, you're not managing the things from the strategic perspective. So one of the key thing is how you are aligning your department, your function role with the organization strategy. And to do that, you need again to build three key skills. And when I'm saying that, I'm giving you three skills in each stage of a leadership. You may disagree, or it's not a hard line. These are recommendation, and you can mix and match at any time. So the three skills that you need to build at the level of functional head is strategic thinking, and negotiation and problem solving. When I say strategic thinking means you're talking about how your work is going to impact other departments, and more importantly, what you're talking about is that how external environment is going to impact your organization and your work. So when you start talking about and showcasing your response in terms of strategic perspective, in terms of impact of your work and other work on your project in an organization or external environment, it means you are a strategic resource. You understand the market dynamics, you understand the internal organization dynamics, and you care about it. It's not just what you want to achieve, what is your KPIs, what are other KPIs, and how collectively we can contribute in the growth of a company. So that is the one thing that you need to learn and practice when you are leading the department. The second thing is negotiation. Although it's not like that when you are leading the team, you don't need negotiation. You need it, but when I see the role of a functional head, it is very important to see how he negotiate the value for his team, he negotiate the or she negotiate the value for his department. And it's not just win all approach or take all approach. You need to see what is win-win for others and how you actually see the value from organization perspective, and then try to bridge the gap, right? And in this negotiation, what I find out is that prioritization is a very key role that you need to perform and see. Lots of people, when they go for negotiation, they see things from their perspective. And when you talk about people about negotiation, they say that think about your job, think about others, think about options. These are right things, right? These are standard 101 negotiation stuff. But what I see is you need to see the strategic value through prioritization. So when I'm going into negotiation for resource engagement, resource acquiring, another thing. What I see is what is the priority of an organization, how my work fits into it, what I can get from it, how I can replace, refine, realign the overall priority. And that helped me eventually to do the negotiation. So this is the second key important aspect that I need to look into it when I'm doing the or leading the department. Third area that I need to, or third skill I need to, build is problem solving. What I find out is when you become a department head, when you become a functional head or unit head, whenever you have a problem, you're not the one who has the solution. That's the key thing. As a leader, and especially when you are thinking about as a program manager, when you're thinking about as a temporary CEO, you're not talking about the solution of a problem. You're not the one who has the answer of every problem, because there's a great work, and he said that, and actually he divided the problem into three specific things. He said there are three types of problem, a critical problem, tame problem, and wicked problem. A critical problem means, let's suppose internet is not working, let's suppose your mobile banking is not working, let's suppose your transformer is not working. So you need someone who is there to solve the issue. It's a critical problem, and you cannot say like I'm looking into it. So what you need to do is you need to provide the answer. So if there is a critical problem, use the technical person, use the domain expert person, and get the answers for it. Then we have a tame problem, which means people are not coming on time, things are not working the way, people are asking for a lot of discounts, let's suppose, and we have some other issues. So what you need to do is we need to build a process. So when you build a process, it helps you to solve the tame problem. But the third important thing is the key important perspective here is how you solve the wicked problem. When you say you have a wicked problem, it means you're talking about there is no solution exists. You never face this problem, and you cannot see the answer from regular, you can say, cookbook, right? There is no playlist or playbook that you can follow, there is no checklist that you can move on. So how you are going to solve the wicked problem? And I believe that the best way to do it is to ask question. So the way you are leading the team, the way you are leading the department, the way you are leading the program is by solving the wicked problems. And when it comes to a wicked problem, you don't know the real answer. So let's suppose when corona hits us, everybody was start doing job from home, and it same happens to me. And when I ask my people how many sales we are doing, how many courses we are booking, where we are. So, there are a couple of people who are saying we are busy, we are doing it. And what I did is, as a CEO, as a manager, my first reaction was, okay, if they are working on it, let's call a meeting. So, from 9 to 5, anytime between 9 to 5, I call them at, let's say, 3 p.m. and say, we have a meeting at after 10 minutes. And when I start doing this thing after 2, 3 time, what I find out is people are not available. They're saying that we are outside with our family, we are doing this, we are doing that, it will take me that much time. And I said, how come? Because it's 9 to 5, you have to be there, you have to be at home. And then there are a lot of issues like we don't have internet, we have AC problem, light problem. But so what I have done is I said, okay, we are a training and consulting company. My all team members are based on sales. So I set a sales criteria instead of a fixed income. But back of my mind, what I have done is I said, if they are unable to make the sales, I will give them the salary at all. But they have to have some environment. And then the portion, the criteria, the percentage that I gave them is it's very less, so that if they work, half the time they used to work in an organization previously in a pre-corona time, they would have achieved it. And then now they can achieve the full salary by doing half work but from their home. And you know what, it filters out very quickly that who is actually working for company and who is actually wasting their time. And and within 2 months, we 2 to 3 people left the company themselves because they were unable to give the solution, they were unable to showcase their performance. And then rest, they were earning 2 or 3 times more what they were earning. And during corona, if we used to train, say, 100 and 150 participants in a public course, we trained more than 400 participants within in corona time. So actually, it's not just that market has increased, I am teaching good, but it's also the structure, it's also the organization setting and team performance that I said. And whatever I did, if you look at it from the ethical perspective, you may say that answer is not ethical, but that was a wicked problem, right? It never happened to me, it never happened to others. We all were learning by doing it. So what I did is I asked a couple of questions, I see a couple of environments, and then gave the answer. So as a leader, if you are owning your overall result, if you are owning the situation, you need to ask questions and then do it. And that is called reflective leader. That is called reflective practitioner. And right now, if you look at what kind of leaders are required in the world, so there is a research going on, there is a work going on, there's a training going on, that we need reflective practitioners, or you can say we need reflective leaders who can solve wicked problems. If I tell you that the overall synopsis of my 2 year degree in University of Oxford about how to lead a $1 billion program is that you need to become a reflective practitioner to solve wicked problems. So that is that is, I can say, a 10 million rupees advice that I can get from Oxford by spending my 3 years there. So it's very interesting that it's not that you know the solution of every problem, but you understand that how to solve the problem. So key three things, if I have to sum up the key 3 things for leading the department and ownership, is the challenge is strategic alignment. The solution is strategic thinking. Number one. Number two is negotiation. And number three is problem solving. Now, the fourth stage, you are a leader of an organization, you are a CEO, or now here comes the key point that you are a temporary CEO. So you can lead a program, you can lead an organization. And when I say program is a temporary organization too. So as a temporary organization CEO, as a program CEO, or as an organization CEO, as a permanent organization CEO, what is your key challenge? And what I find out is the key challenge of a CEO is direction. And there's a very good article, I love this article by A.G. Lafley. It says what only a CEO can do. So if I look at this perspective, I would say that as a CEO, my key role is to set a direction of an organization, that what we are going to do and what we are not going to do, which area we need to focus, which business we need to in. Same way, if you take the example of IBM, when IBM says that we are going to focus on services, what they did is they sold out their IBM Lenovo business. They said we are not no more gonna sell the laptops, right? And there are a couple of examples, like if you read the A.G. Lafley article about what only a CA can do, he can tell about that he actually sold out 1 or 2 businesses that they don't want to focus. In fact, when I started out, I started out with a training company, and I had technical training also. We talk about providing .NET training, SharePoint portal training, other training. And within 1 year, I realized that that's not for me. I cannot, focus on delivering training myself and managing the training center for other stuff, and making it profitable. So what I have done is that I have actually closed my technical training department, and now we don't focus on any technical training. And then what I did is I said, okay, now I'm not going to focus on providing trainings in my company. So lots of people ask me, I said, you provide project management training. Where is your office? Where is your training center? I said, I don't have training center. We provide trainings in only 5-star hotels, either be it in Pakistan and outside Pakistan. So that's how we set the direction, and my team knows that if you want to be profitable, if you want to be operational, we need to make it sail in a way that at least we achieve that point. So direction is very important, that what we are going to do and what we are not going to do, number one. Number two, the key point is this: the challenge is direction, and how I'm going, sorry, direction is the challenge, and the skills that I need to learn and to practice to focus on direction. Number one thing is change. You need to understand what is change, how you are going to redesign your organization. And as I said, if you want to grow as a temporary CEO, if you want to grow as a program manager, you need to understand that change is very important for you, and you're not making change or doing change for the sake of change. You need to understand that that change is going to change the outlook of your organization. That change is going to change the way your organization does the business. That change is going to change the overall market value of your organization, overall brand value of your organization. So you can see right now I'm doing these three specific events, and every event is based on actually two specific key elements, and every element is ground up with program management. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is that, okay, if you have done PMP, then go for program management. If you haven't done PMP, go for it and go for the program management. And if you are senior and if you have 40 years of age and you want to grow and you don't want to go for PMP, then go for program management. And doesn't matter you are going for PGMP certification or not, but you need to see things from this perspective. And as I told you that MBA is good. I'm not saying that MBA is bad, but MBA is going to help you if you're working in an operational organization where they need you to manage the operation. But if you are going to work in an organization where they have to build new things, where they have to actually disrupt themselves and go and find new businesses and new areas or new exploration, then probably MBA is not for you. And you need to to think strategically and go for the program management. So direction, to set the direction, you need to think about change, that how what is the impact of change and how you implement it, number one. Number two key thing is, when you talk about change, is how you are making the decision. You see, decision making is a make or break for you. Tony Robbins says that wherever you are and wherever you are not is just because of the decision making capabilities of yourself. In defense, they say that we build our journal for 22 years to make a decision, just one decision. Are we going for a fight or not? So decision making is so much. In fact, if you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Quran Pak says that I gave this thing to prophets. So decision making is a gift from a God, that he's saying, and God is saying that I gave it to my prophets. So this is the beauty, this is the value that we need to understand. And how we are making decision is very important. And when you talk about decision making, the first aspect is you need to overcome your biases. Sometimes you already made a decision in your mind and you want others to confirm it. So you need to see it that it's not that what you want to do, it's basically how you can assess, how you build a framework. So you need to gather insights, you need to gather data, and then make a decision. So first thing when you're talking about decision making is, number one, unbias yourself, I would say, number one. Number two for decision making is to see how you can make a decision with data. So gather the data. Sometimes you are working in an environment where you don't have data. So if you're not making a decision based on data, then what is your intuition? And when you are building or making a decision based on intuition, you need to list down the assumptions. Okay, this is my intuition. My intuition is saying go for program management business, but these are the assumptions, and based on these assumptions I'm making this decision. Although intuition does not based on any numbers, any reason, but you need to identify the assumptions and list it down. Then third thing is, are you making decision on your own or you are involving the team? So if you are making decision with a team, how you are going to make a decision, how you are going to evaluate it, how you are going to give the value to others, and then eventually make it. So decision making, I would say, is a art, is a gift of God that you need to acquire and see and work on. That will help you to see things. And don't delay decision. The key value, I was reading an HBR article, it says that the key value of a, or the key success of a CEO or senior management is that how quickly they make decision, and then if they find out the decision is not right, just change it. But if you are waiting too much to get data and to then make a move, then it means you are stagnant. So you don't need to look into it that way. Finally, influencing is the third key skill that you need to build when you are leading an organization, because if you want others to work on it, you need to pursue them based on your ability, based on other ability, based on using some other influencer. So it will help you to persuade them and see things, and motivate them. So these are the three key skills for leading an organization. So the three key skills that I have identified are for setting direction in terms of the problem or the challenge of a CEO. Number one is change management. Number two is decision making. And number three is the influencing skill. Now, the fourth stage of leadership that you can own yourself is global leadership. When I think about global leadership, it took me almost 2 weeks to capture the data. What is the challenge of a global leader? If you want to be a global leader, what is your challenge? If I want to, last year when I was setting my goal for a year, and this year also, one of my thing is to be a global leader. Alhamdulillah, last year when I did my Udemy training and uploaded it onto Sin, right now 600 people from 30 countries actually attended or participated in my Udemy course. And now I'm making it more agile, more user friendly, and I'm making some investment on it to move from 30 countries to 100 countries. So I want to achieve that thing. So when I say, but when I was thinking about it, what would be the key problem? The key problem is not that you want to be global. The key problem is, what is your brand? So the challenge of a global leader is to have a brand. Once you build the brand, then you can talk about, or people will see it in yourself. So in terms of the brand, the key skill that you need to acquire to uh, tackle the challenge of a global leader to manage a brand, number one is visioning. You must have a vision. You must understand that what you want to achieve, how you see the thing. Generally, people have different definition of visions. Some says vision is what we do. Some says other thing. But vision means picture of future. Where do I see myself in a couple of years? And recently, when I was reading a book, Designing a Business, they talked about what is your vision of 100 year. So I thought, wow. So now I can see myself in 100 years. How I what would be my legacy if I'm not in this world. So this is the very thing. So what is my vision for me when I'm here, and my vision for my company when I'm not here? And of course, there will be a time I will not be here. So how things will be working without me? So this is one thing, and I need to look into it. Number one. Number two is political and cultural assessment. It is very important to understand what are the political influences, because if you want to be global, you need to take these things. You need to understand the political values and political structures and political policies, and governmental policies and cultural values too. So you cannot talk about things which are not understandable in other cultures or other religions. And because when you want to be global, you need to balance these things. Interestingly, PMI data says that there is a need of 88 million roles in project management till 2027. And interestingly and happily, I would say 75% of this role will be required in India and China. So sitting in Pakistan, the two are my neighbors. But if I want to be global, if I want to provide my service or extend my services from Pakistan to India and China, you can see I have to see things in a different way. I need to understand both the cultural perspectives and political perspectives, especially in comes to India, that how I am acceptable there, how I can deliver the value from sitting here or maybe sitting somewhere else, and making my company profitable. So that is the second thing. And the third thing is how I build the trust. You see, a very important point in my industry is not that how good I am, how much knowledge do I have, how many certifications I have done, but the key point here is what value I am giving to my end users. So if I can see the value to my end users, that will be helpful to me. That will be easy for my end people to understand. So now I'm rebuilding my whole website, and one of the key things that I'm building in my website is not what we provide, is basically what our customers got from us. So this is how I'm seeing the things and building the trust. Lots of people talk about what they have done, how many certifications they have done, how many people they did this, but it's all about what you have, what you know, what you can do. but what your end users have achieved it. That is why I told you, when I redefine my company vision and mission, it's no more about what we want to be. So previously my company vision was to be a global leader in project and program management perspective, but now I'm saying that we want to be a global provider of change agents. So what we are providing is not training. We are not global in terms of providing our services. We are global by basically building the change agents. So that's how we are shifting the mindset from inside view to outside view, from your perspective to end perspective. That's how the whole thing works. So if you want to become a global leader, you need to work on your brand, and you need to build the trust, understand the political and cultural aspects, and do your visioning. That will help you to look into it. So this mindset, these three things, these five stages in so the stage number one was lead yourself. The challenge that you have is focus. The skills that you need to build are goal setting, disciplined approach, and emotional intelligence. When you talk about leading the team, the challenge you have is engagement. The skills that you need to build are mentoring and coaching of your team, conflict management, and performance management. When you talk about leading the department, it means you're talking about strategic alignment of your department with other organization departments. The skills that you need to have should have are strategic thinking, negotiation, and problem solving. When it comes to leading the organization, either as a permanent CEO or a temporary CEO from the program perspective, the challenge that you have is direction, and the skills that you need to build and practice is change management, then decision making, and influencing. Finally, if you want to be a global leader, the challenge you have is the brand value, and the skills that you need to build are, we can say, visioning, and political and cultural, and finally the last thing is trust building. So in this perspective, you can understand and own your success, and those who are owning their success, owning themselves, owning their leadership perspective, they are the one who will grow and who will help their organizations to grow. And I'm not saying that the skills in each stage that I talked about only reside in that stage. So let's suppose you need negotiation in leading the team, you need negotiation when you are leading the organization. But what I have done is, for the sake of simplicity and reducing the conflict complexity, I've identified skills in each area, and these skills can be cross collaborated, and you can learn anytime, and you can use these skills in any specific perspective. But the key perspective here is how you are building yourself, how you are taking the ownership of your success and your company's success. So, and anybody can give you, what is hot, what is adoptable, what is, sellable, and these are the steps that you need to look into it when you're talking about the transformation. But if you are not going to own yourself, if you're not going to own this success, if you're not going to build yourself, then you will not be able to achieve the desired results that you are, trying to achieve. That is the key thing to understand and build on this. So I hope you enjoyed this session or lesson number three, which is all about ownership of your success. So it's time to questions. Let's see how many of you have question. What do you want to ask? So I'm all here with the questions. Let's see. Always, do you have any questions? So you can ask them. Otherwise, let's see. Maybe some people want to see things later. So you don't have questions. Either you are shocked, you understand everything, you did not understand anything. So that's all. So if you don't have questions, thank you guys, and we will have a special session, which is the session based on these three sessions. The assignment that I used to give everybody's assignment. The assignment is to identify your key skills and list down where you are lacking. So out of the 12, I would say skill that I identified, where you need more help, right? So identify yourself, see where you need more help, and what you can, what I will do is I will tell you which specific book, which specific course, which specific guideline you can use to build yourself. So that's all for today. We'll see you on Monday with a bonus session on, transformation series. Thank you. Take care. Office.